Hello, everyone. Hi, it's me. It's Will. Great to see you again. Or if you've never been here before, great to meet you. I'm Will. I'm a guy. I'm a dude. And I'm here to talk about things and reflect on them. So, question for today. What parts of myself are hidden in my mask? And what would the consequences be of revealing those parts of myself? Cool. So, good question. For me, I would say the things that are in my mask, the parts of me that are in my mask, are what I would describe as some people have affectionately called my golden retriever energy. So, I can be very extrovert and upbeat, and I think that's a big part of my mask, to kind of get silly, to kind of be a part of one of the parts of my mask, depending on the situation, but like be more extroverted, be kind of silly, kind of crack jokes, be fun, kind of be super thoughtful and conscientious, although I think that is a more genuine part of myself. But I think I definitely have this golden retriever energy, where I get very silly in social situations, and I really like to make jokes and be absurd. I have a very off the wall sense of humor. But I think a lot of what my mask does is it tries to put people at ease and like validate other people being themselves. That's something to go back to the values video. I feel that's something that's really important for me to give a space, or encourage a space where people can be authentic and be themselves, because I think I feel that like I've had that less so over time, and that really sucks. I feel for me, I want to also, I guess, keep things light. I think it's easier when things are light, things are funny, things are silly. I think that's a big part of my social mask, being like that. But I think another part of my social mask is kind of going into this like British stereotype where my voice gets a little posher and I sound a bit more prim and proper. Southern English, Queen's English direction, I almost sound. And I feel I almost fall into this stereotype in a way of being like overly polite, apologizing for everything, being very respectful and thoughtful and measured, and calm seeming. I think is also a huge part of my mask. For me, I've always found it a defense mechanism, maybe, in a way, for me to go into a kind of a posh way to control how other people see me. I think I've always felt like it's my masks in that respect have tried to earn respect, I guess, maybe. I think there's a respect element to it. I think when I want to be taken seriously, especially with new people that don't know me as well, I'm not in an environment where I can be silly, like my other mask. I kind of go into a very prim and proper, yes, quiet, yes, I'm English and I come from the Shire, and oh yes. And yeah, I guess I also feel like another angle of that mask is that I self-censor a lot. So usually, like, these two masks I've already outlined, of like the silly mask and the proper mask. The silly mask, still, it may seem more authentic, and it is more authentic, but there's still certainly parts of myself I curb and manage in the silly mask that keep me away from my heavier stuff. But in the prim and proper mask, I don't swear. Like, I swear in the silly mask, but I swear kind of a bunch more in the prim and in the silly mask. But I don't swear in the prim and proper mask. And I feel swearing is very like authentic and natural for me. I feel swearing kind of more naturally conveys how I feel. But I feel like a lot of people don't like swearing because of their sensibilities, because of kind of what they think it might suggest about maybe who I am and the kind of values and beliefs I have as a person, whereas I feel swearing is more authentic. So I often really like subconsciously curb a lot of swearing when I'm in that proper mask mode. So I guess, you know, with a couple of those masks outlined, I guess to outline the mask stuff a little more, I think I'll probably put down what I like maybe more authentically feel. Like, I had an instance a while ago. This is a really good contrast, actually. So I went to a counselling class, and I had my day in counselling, and there was a bunch of stuff that happened that I'm not going to talk about for confidentiality reasons, but I felt very kind of lonely when I left that. I felt very kind of emotionally activated, pretty triggered because of stuff that just come up in the day. You know, I cried in class because of stuff that I talked about feeling like lonely and misunderstood. And I bring this all up because I think it ties into the mask stuff really well, because I think a lot of my masks have kept me emotionally distant from other people, me feeling emotionally distant from other people. I don't think other people necessarily feel distant from me, but I know my masks have made me feel like that. So I was feeling really lonely, and then I went to go and play Blades in the Dark with my friends in the evening. And it was like a group of 4 of us, me included, and there was a guy in the group who was talking about wanting to set up another kind of role-playing group. I was a new member to this group. I haven't played role-playing games with these guys very much at all, so while I'm very good friends with one of the guys who invited me, I knew one of the other guys forever because we grew up in the same village together, and then this other guy was kind of a completely new guy, and he was the guy who was advocating for a new roleplay group, right? So I'm like already activated, already really emotionally triggered from all the lonely stuff, and then I like go to the toilet and come back, and then they're kind of like planning a new group, and they're like, oh, I definitely, and then the new guy I don't know super well, right? This isn't on him at all. This is just like how I was emotionally feeling, but he's like, hey, you 2 guys I already know and play with a bunch, not Will. I want you guys in my role-playing group. And they just kind of left it at that and then moved on, and that kind of in the moment really hurt me because I was really feeling really lonely, right? So my mask kind of kicks in there. I think my compassionate, proper mask kind of came up to protect me because I think I was feeling very defensive in that moment. And forced myself to be like, okay, so like, what does this guy, like, let's think about the context here, Will, right? Let's like zoom out, okay? You've had like 2 role-playing games with this guy, like 2 role-playing sessions. He doesn't know how consistent you are. He clearly wants something more, to a specific direction that he's not getting in his other role-playing games for whatever reason, right? Like, you don't need to take this out on him that you are kind of emotionally activated and triggered, and like, he doesn't know you super well, so like, why would he invite you? Which is like very logical. But I was still very emotionally hurt by it, and I had to journal about it a lot. And I think it's really important in understanding my masks and what they're doing there, right? Because my mask, my proper mask, my compassionate mask, my empathetic mask, which all feels kind of in a similar boat for me, kind of come up and was like, hey, you know, this isn't about you, right? So put on that proper mask and be compassionate with their needs and what they need, right? Because like right now your needs don't matter. So I think that's kind of why it hurt me, because it was very much like the day was about like me acknowledging that like I felt like my needs didn't matter, and feeling kind of really lonely because of it. So, you know, I guess using that example to highlight the second part of the question, what would be the consequences of revealing those parts of myself? You know, in that moment, I think it would have caused a lot of like interpersonal conflict if I kind of just like dumped down all of my triggered negative emotions there and was like, hey, what the fuck, why aren't you including me? Right? Which is like, you know, I'm glad I didn't do it, because I think it would have really hurt the relationship. But I guess I feel that the consequences of like letting the mask down are that, you know, I might be respected less. I might be thought kind of less of by other people, and seen as pathetic. I guess I worry about being seen as pathetic in when I'm trying to be proper, you know, when I'm trying to be silly, and if I'm being a bit pathetic when I'm silly, yeah, actually, I don't think I want to be pathetic when I'm silly either. I kind of just want to have a laugh and be fun. And I feel like I struggle to show more of my negative, authentic feelings. You know, if I'm feeling hopeless, or I'm feeling despair, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling isolated, I really struggle to communicate those with like just people in my life sometimes. I think I'm getting a lot better at it in recent years, and I think me telling you all this right now is a testament to that, because I would never have done this several years ago. Sat on a digital podium and been like, this is how I feel. But I think I'm always very concerned about being seen to, I guess, bring the mood down. I think, you know, when I was younger a lot, everyone was struggling around me a lot, and I was struggling too, don't get me wrong. I've had several suicide attempts, but it never felt like, I guess, my needs were a priority. And I guess I feel that's why as a kid I felt very neglected, because my my mum was really struggling, and my brother wasn't going to school and he was doing drugs, and my other brother was like kind of a chaotic force, and you know, it just felt like I seeped into the background and was forgotten. So I guess the times I am around people, maybe I'm worried about, pushing people away, even if on a shallow level I would talk to them, be silly or be proper. But I'm worried about maybe if I share more negative stuff that I will be more profoundly rejected. And maybe learning to be compassionate and empathetic is a defense mechanism, in a way, because I'm like, hey, like if I give them space, then I'm still allowed to be around. Yeah, that's kind of sad when I think about it. I kind of feel sad now, but I think that's part of it. But also I think, like, I know what it feels like to, I guess, feel forgotten, feel rejected, feel hurt. And I've always had a high level of emotionality, which I've had to learn how to ride as a wave. You know, if I think about kind of actions, thoughts and feelings being different dimensions of like how I operate in life, am I caught up more in my feelings, my thoughts, or action? And for me, it's like 100% feelings. It's like mostly feelings, and then a little bit of thoughts, and then like even less action. So historically, I would say it's a way more balanced ratio now, which is why I'm doing more creatively and productively than I ever have. But I think my masks protect my feelings that want to push things forward. And I think a lot of emotions need to be processed in my head very promptly, or I'm kind of at their mercy and they're just gonna like do whatever they do. So yeah, that's the answer to that question for me. To reiterate, what parts of yourself are hidden in your mask, and what would the consequences be of revealing those parts of yourself? Yeah, kind of a sad one. Feel a little sad on the end here. But thank you for listening. I'm trying to be authentic. Take care of yourselves and have a good day.